In an ever-changing world, Life Changes Network presents a voice of truth and inspiration, broadcasting on frequencies of love, laughter, and understanding, illuminating new paths for new moments of healing and inspiration as we, as one, strive for higher and higher planes of existence and a higher understanding of ourselves and the world in which we live. Always remembering, life changes. This is radio like you've never heard before. Life Changes with Filippo. And now your host, our MC, the Master of Change, Filippo Voltaggio.
Well, thank you. This is an exciting day. You know, even though it's raining and just like cats and dogs, we were able to get everybody here and do a show. And traffic allowed everything to happen just right. And we're here and we're excited. And today's special because we also have a live special guest. And a live musical guest. Our live guest is Dr. Bodhise, the urban sage, and our musical guest is Sharon Blue Rain. How perfect is that for today? Actually, once you hear her music, she's perfect for every day, actually. So, before we get into that, I was thinking just yesterday how 2012 is quickly coming upon us. And I was actually kind of sad. And I wasn't sad because 2012 is going to come and necessarily there are going to be earthquakes and major earth changes. It's not necessarily because of that I was sad. I was thinking, I like the fact that people are getting ready for a change. People are expecting a change. And people are talking about a change, which is making more change happen. And so there are those, of course, who are getting ready for disaster. And in a sense, when we think that way, we might actually be creating that. Then there are those of us who are getting ready for positive changes. And in a sense, and some of us believe full-heartedly that by thinking about these positive changes, we will actually create those positive changes. All around this ominous date that the Mayan calendar supposedly says is December 21st, 2012. But I also was thinking yesterday how this Mayan calendar, I believe it's probably very accurate. My question is, are the people reading it knowing exactly what it's saying? And hasn't our calendar changed so many times? Like, for example, our calendar used to go with the moon cycle. So at the beginning of the month, it was a certain moon. At the end of the month, it was the other moon, whatever. And the days used to have 28 days every month, or 27, whatever it is. And now we have 31 because Augustus wanted this, and and we added an extra month. And all of these things, our calendar has changed so many times. So when you compare supposedly the accuracy of one calendar to now our calendar, did we really have the dates correct? And so it doesn't really matter that it's December 21st, 2012, but what mattered to me was that people were getting ready for change, and a lot of us for positive change. Well, interestingly enough, today I received an email that literally started with good news, bad news. And it said that the good news is that change is upon us. The bad news is that it's happening right now. Well, we've known that it's gradual and it is changing and happening right now. But this email literally said right now, like in 2012, December 21st, 2012 is really not the date that the Mayan calendar indicates, but December 21st, 2010. Yikes! That's tomorrow. For those of you who are listening to it today. So that could be scary. That could be exciting. And of course, with all the rains outside, it could be totally true. But okay, so that made me happy and sad. Happy in a sense that we're still here. And if that is true, that it's really tomorrow, that the world hasn't ended. I'm sure it wouldn't happen like at midnight tonight, that, you know, earthquakes haven't happened and all that stuff, that hasn't been total devastation. So it's good news is that we're still here. Bad news is I still want to look forward to this date, because I feel like there's so much more change that I want to do. It's kind of like, you know, getting, like in the Bible, it talks about getting ready for the bride and the bridegroom, or, you know, when the bridegroom comes, you're being ready for it. I don't feel like I've changed enough. I don't feel like we've processed enough, and enough of us are on board. So, okay, what if it is tomorrow? And what if it is the 21st of December 2012? And what if it isn't? My hope is that we get into a rhythm, or into a cycle or a spiral upwards of change, of growth, of interconnectedness, and that date to me, or that looking forward to that, is about us continually getting better and better and better. And I think back on so many things that we do, and like today, we have a musical guest, and I hope she's been performing all her life. I didn't ask her. But 10 years from now, she's going to say, oh, I sound maybe so much better now. But if she waited for 10 years to do the songs that she's going to do today, for example, then she would have deprived us of the music that we could share today. But in the process, in those years from now till 10 years, she will be changing and growing. So here we are, we're changing and we're growing every day. And we're looking ahead to this date in December of 2012, or we can stop looking if you believe that it's really tomorrow. But let us not stop thinking about going inside, about connecting, and about changing for the better. And that's what I'd like to say. And with that, I look forward to, I see some people nodding their heads. So I'm getting an amen, so to speak, and it's exciting. So with that, I'm looking forward to talking to our guest and seeing what he has to share on the subjects that he so well knows about. But only after this. Mark? Mark, are you on mute? Well, Mark must be on mute. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest. Our guest is known by many as the urban sage. He is Dr. Paul Bodhise, and he is a holistic visionary. As a doctor of chiropractic, Bodhise has ventured widely into the field of alternative medicine. He is quoted in science journals for his research in neuromuscular massage. He presides over the Heal Thyself Garden Party that gives other alternative practitioners a voice. I know some of those practitioners, and I'm so glad you are helping give them a voice. He is author of The Urban Sage, a holistic treatise of mind, body, and spirit. And Dr. Bodhise is the East-West feature in January 2011 edition of Your Health Connection magazine. So with that, we welcome to the show Dr. Bodhise.
Peace and blessings.
Welcome. Peace and blessings right back to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us.
That's great.
You are known as the urban sage. Now, I know what urban means, and I know what a sage is, and I've also known you for a while, but I never thought about asking you, how do you describe an urban sage?
Well, it's a beautiful introduction I want you to say to you of what you said, and sometimes it takes all of us together, our spirits together, to forge a path ahead. Mm. In particular, we kind of know that sage is a wonderful plant that can purify the air. And another terminology is one who's on the path, who's been on the path, that has gained some knowledge of the ancient wisdom and can help and show others. And the idea of urban, even though now I'm in Topanga Canyon, it's not so urban.
Mm-hmm. A beautiful part of Los Angeles, actually.
It's just the fact that you don't have to go to the Himalayas or to the Andes Mountains to be able to gain this knowledge that you are talking about, going within and learning how to tap that source within in order to get the revelations and allow things to be revealed to you to show you how to continue on the path and to help others. I say to be the light, to be that beacon in showing the way. Instead of shaking someone's shoulder and say, hey, this is the way you do it, just do it and be it. That's the idea behind the urban sage.
I like it. Actually, I like that. Just do it and be it. And yet, we actually have not really had an opportunity to talk about this, but coming from how you grew up, would anybody have expected you to be the urban sage at this point?
Certainly, I would.
You wouldn't have, okay.
Expected it. It wasn't in my repertoire at the time, growing up in Philadelphia and New York areas. And I guess we all go through this koan, that time in our lives, that paradigm shift that calls us to another way of thinking and seeing life. And I actually spent time in the Air Force, and I was a Vietnam vet, and I flew many missions.
Really?
I have to acknowledge that. And
wow.
So at some point in my life, I recognized that there was time for a karmic change. And so many people would not look at me as having this Air Force uniform on and oxygen mask and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I kind of set that to the side and decided that, now it's time to give back to the universe, give back to the world, give back to my brothers and sisters. So this is the reason that I went into holistic healing.
So if we went back to the community you were living in before, as you grew up, and we said, this is Dr. Bodhise, the urban sage, and what would people say?
Actually, they're like, yeah, that's the urban sage, because he's had a regular program for a number of years.
Well, yeah, of course, they know you now.
So
that's not fair.
They would call in and ask questions. Actually, I returned to the East Coast after a time here on the West Coast because I was delved into holistic healing, and I knew at the time that I was returning, they weren't there. And it was a calling that someone had to go there and to work on this area of holistic healing. So I just jumped into it, after graduating from Chiropractic College, created a holistic healing center and began to lasso people and pull them in. And quite frankly, many was ripe and ready for this. There was others who were a little skeptical and didn't even like the name holistic. And for a moment, I changed the name of my clinic to alternative medicine, until I realized that there was something missing in the terminology of alternative medicine. Holistic encompasses mind, body, and spirit, the soul. And so therefore I reverted back to holistic, clear, no matter who may object it to that terminology. And now today it's more of a kitchen word, but back then it was like, they even told chiropractors, never use the word holistic. It relates to things that we don't want to be associated with. So I decided to associate with holistic more than anything else.
Well, we're going to learn more about all of that in just a moment as soon as we come back after this.
Dorothy Lee Donahue is an awakener, an activator, and an accelerator. She works with people from all walks of life, from corporate executives to celebrities, to housewives and children, assisting them in finding their purpose, their joy, and their mission, guiding them to align with who they are and who they came to be. Awaken your life, activate the secrets that are within you, and accelerate your path with life coach, spiritual healer, and founder of Energetic Alchemy, Dorothy Lee Donahue. To learn more about her, book an appointment, or attend one of her upcoming Energetic Alchemy courses, visit our website at lifechangeswithfilippo.com and click on our sponsor page. You are listening to Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network with our host, Filippo Voltaggio, and tonight's special guest, Dr. Paul Brown Bodhise. You can hear our tonight's show and all our past shows on our archive page at our website at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. That's Filippo, Filippo.com. Remember, you can connect with us not only through our website, but also on Facebook at Life Changes with Filippo. And you can find us via Facebook, Twitter, and very soon our own Life Changes network community, where real people will come together to share real life in real time. And now back to Filippo.
You know, Dr. Bodhise, you talk about this holistic healing. As a matter of fact, your book is a holistic survival kit for the body, mind, and soul. And holistic survival, this is an important time. Not only is it winter, but in general, people are seemingly a lot more ill. So you were saying something to me earlier about 7 forces of nature of healing, was it?
7 natural healing forces.
Thank you. I had all the words, but just in the wrong order.
Okay. We're going to handle that. But yeah, briefly, there are 7 natural healing forces that we all are aware of, but don't really take it in as to the importance of this puzzle. And I say that if you're right up front, if you're not focusing on these 7 and something is missing, then usually that is the problem. Number 1, the sun. Very important. It helps to change glucose levels in the body. It creates the avenue for vitamin D creation in our bodies. The sun is so important. So we hear a lot about stay out the sun. I say get in the sun. But not the very hot afternoon summer sun. But we need this sun. There are those who are sun worshipers, or they look at the sun for brief moments to get more nutrition into their body. Sun is an important natural healing force. Of course, we wouldn't be here on this planet if it wasn't for it. So we have to learn what relationship we should really have to it and not listen to the naysayers saying stay out the sun. By the way,
we actually demonize it almost.
Yes, and research have shown that those persons with the darker pigmentation, that the only time that they have been diagnosed as having skin cancer is due to a lack of sunshine.
Wow.
So this is big and very important. The other, of course, is water.
That's news.
Yeah. And that's the urban sage aspect of this. Let's bring out some of the information that has been suppressed.
Very good. Thank you.
Clearly water, and an article today that I just received, and I put it on my Facebook there, is that water in this country has been shown to have a large amount of carcinogens in it. And this is very important. Many of the bottled water is being returned because it's been found to have carcinogens in it. So it's important to look for a pure water source. That's what I say. Pray over it and look for a pure water source. And 2 quarts of water a day is necessary to replenish the body, period. It's just as simple as that. It goes much further than that with all of the research that has been done on it. Praying in the water changes molecular levels and structures to help heal the body. But water, a very important of these 7 natural healing forces.
Okay, so sun and water.
Okay, now
I'm with you so far.
Now we have the diet, and especially winter is very important to understand it. The colds and flus and coughs and the viruses and everything that's being experienced this time.
We don't have to experience that, right?
We don't have to experience it.
I mean, I'm looking at you. You're healthy. I'm healthy. And a lot of my friends are blowing their nose and having fevers, and we don't have to do that.
Exactly. Or if we catch something, we can kick it quickly if we build up our immune system properly.
Okay.
And that's part of the discussion that I wanted to bring out today. There are certain herbs and vitamins and supplements that I'd like to get into a little later that helps to boost their immune system. But there are different types of diets, but especially during the winter time, it's important to look at the macrobiotic diet. You know, many people have the raw food diet and they have vegetarian diet, but the macrobiotic diet is a balancing diet where you have your grains, your root vegetables that grows below the ground, vegetables that grows above the ground, and you have to make sure you have a protein source. And I like beans, nuts, and seeds as protein sources, and dark leafy greens. And so this is more of a cooked type of diet, although it is important to get raw food into your diet. But during the winter time, it's important to warm up the body. So diet, one of the 7 natural healing forces.
Okay.
All right, you want to make that one there? Huh?
You know, actually, one more, and then we can read about it, the rest of it in the book, right?
Yeah, we don't want to give all the natural healing forces away.
We don't have time for it. We'll have to do a whole series if we do that.
But let's just pick breathing. Deep, that's
breathing.
So important. Breathing. And most of us...
No, we breathe all the time, don't we?
Shallow breathe like little birds.
That's what we do.
So when we don't take a deep breath until the doctor says take a deep breath, right?
Wow.
But the fact is our lungs can receive a larger capacity of oxygen so that our blood will have this larger capacity of oxygen for the necessary energy in the body. Mm-hmm. So if all day long we shallow breathe, that means that we are not using the full capacity of what our body can have. Pranayama breathing is a type of deep breathing where you inhale for like a certain amount of time.
I'm finding myself doing it right now.
Right? See that? And it makes sense.
It feels good.
It makes sense. And after you do it, you get relaxed and
right.
feel more energy, strength, and actually you're more in tune with the spiritual world. You can do without water for days, you can do without diet for days, but you can't do without breathing for more than a few moments. This means that our breathing has a direct connection to the spiritual world. We have to think about that.
Where do we get this book?
The Holistic Survival Kit for the Mind, Body, and Soul is on our website, theurbansage.com.
Theurbansage.com. And if people don't know how to spell urban, it's URBAN, and sage is SAGE.com.
It's also in a few of the various bookstores, like the Agape Quiet Mind bookstore. So
indeed it is.
Just look it up.
Indeed it is. Okay, all right. Well, now, you also talk about universal laws now. So many people are talking about universal laws, but you have an interesting take, and I thought we'd spend a couple of minutes.
Cool. All right, let me run a few of it down for you. Now, you can stop me whenever you want to. The laws of the universe.
How can I stop a happy person who's got great things to share?
All right, our outer world is a reflection of our inner thoughts. Any ideas that you hold in your conscious mind will be continuously brought into reality by your superconscious mind, the laws of the universe. The law of compensation. You must give of yourself before you can receive from the universe. Our rewards in life are in direct proportion to the service that you give to others. Therefore, we can increase our own value by increasing the value of the service that you give. And then you got to do an affirmation to say, I believe this. So affirmation, repeat after me. Every day.
Every day.
In every way.
In every way.
I'm getting better and better.
I'm getting better and better.
By giving better service.
By giving better service.
The law of responsibility. This law states that we are who we are because of our own decisions. And by accepting who we are right now, we can take responsibility to act in a way to change where we are. So true responsibility then is an act of controlling our dominant thoughts by seizing control of our minds. Affirmation. My responsibility.
My responsibility.
Is the act of controlling my thought.
Is the act of controlling my thought.
I will now seize control of my mind.
I will now seize control of my mind.
All right, one more. The law of achievement. This law states that we obtain what we desire by setting goals and then implementing them. The law of achievement is the ability to change ourselves accordingly as the need arises as we approach our goal, and then to understand that things will improve in our lives as a result of our own personal improvement. The laws of the universe. Any thoughts that you create, goals that you make, any ideas that you have, if we continuously remind ourselves over and over again in an affirming way, it must be brought into reality and manifested by our superconscious mind. The laws of the universe.
And is there an affirmation that goes with that?
There is some, but we want them to get the book. We can't give it all away. It's a great radio program.
That's great. How do you do that without taking those deep breaths?
Yeah, I'll take it in between.
Well, that's great. I know people are going to want to hear that again, so they could always go to our archives and hear Dr. Bodhise say those at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. But, of course, you can go to theurbansage.com and get the book and learn those and others. And maybe you can repeat them as quickly as Dr. Bodhise can. Why is this important to know? I could just hear some people saying, I just want to live my life, and I'm living a good life. Why do I have to know all this?
Well, your preamble to this wonderful show spoke on that. And when it comes to, is it 2012, is it tomorrow, and are we thinking catastrophe, or are we thinking it's getting better? So this is that part of that law of attraction. So it's a law that just at least we can look at and think about and enumerate in certain ways. Law of attraction states that we attract to us what we think about the most. The universe sends to us those messages we send to it. So, and this depends on our present thoughts, not our past experiences. So forget about the past. What are you doing right now, this moment, in the now, the presence of the spirit? And if we're thinking catastrophic, right now we're bringing to ourselves that kind of energy. Whereas if we're thinking more positive, who I am and I am all that is, then we can use these laws to remind ourselves, what am I thinking? I don't want to think that. Let me change what's in my mind and throw the garbage away.
A lot of garbage, huh?
A lot of garbage. We got to learn how to shift shape.
Shift shape.
Shift shape, meaning it's a word that it's a phrase that I actually got from a wonderful brother, Michael Beckwith. He was talking one day, and he was like, look, whatever is going on in the good parts of your life, the excellent part of your life, learn to feel the vibration of that and shift it to the places in your life that's not so excellent and reshape it into the same vibration that was going on in the area of your excellence. And so that's done in many areas of the world where you feel, where the shaman or the sage feels the vibrations of the good organ and takes that vibration over to the poor organ and transfer that energy to the poor organ, and that organ begins to function better.
Wow.
So it is a true phenomenon. Shift shape, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual, it works.
Wow. Well, we've talked about physical and we've talked about mental, and it's interesting that you said you brought the spirit with you. Well, of course you do, but you did in the form of music. Do you want to introduce what that's all about?
Certainly, there's this wonderful group called the Luminaries, and they are here in Southern California, and I'm very close to them. They're beautiful music. They do a little hip-hop rapping and that kind of thing, and I went out to see them. And there was a wonderful songstress that was with them, most of them guys, but then there was this woman, and she just had this beautiful voice and way about her, and I was very happy to experience what she was doing, and I thought she should come upon the Heal Thyself Garden Party, and you know what we were talking about a little earlier about time for change, and you're not ready yet. Well, somebody has to push her over the cliff. And that's what I think about this, our music person, and I didn't actually know she was going to physically come up. I was going to play the
Wow,
CD.
exciting.
But it's Sharon Blue Rain, and she did this wonderful piece called Yoshi, and when it comes to the spirit, you have to feel the vibrations of the spirit. And in art, in all the arts, that takes you from the analytical side to the more intuitive side. And the spirit has a strong reverberation in that side of our mindset. And music and art takes us there. So that's why I thought that Sharon Blue Rain should come and do the spiritual side.
That's great. I'm glad you thought that and acted upon your thought. And as soon as we come back from this announcement, we're going to hear Sharon Blue Rain.
Wow, that's great. I'm happy that she showed up.
Life Changes with Filippo is a premier radio show presented by Life Changes, which is a company whose team has dedicated their lives not only to positive change, but to helping others observe and embrace their own changes, to honor them, and to even celebrate them, and in doing so, live a more positive, inspired life, and helping to create a more positive and inspired world. From everyday people to corporate giants, celebrities, and children, we are here to help and to serve. Through our many programs, we bring our messages out into your home, your corporate offices, and we are here to help and would be honored if you would like private consultation with one of us or wish to engage us for corporate events or would like to speak or like us to speak on your radio or TV shows. For more information, visit our website, lifechangeswithfilippo.com, and click our representation page. You are listening to Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network with your host, Filippo Voltaggio.
Well, we are back, and those of you who are watching the video and live, get to see Sharon Blue Rain here live in person. Her CD is called Yoshi, and she is going to be playing the title track. So here is Sharon Blue Rain with Yoshi.
Thank you so much. Pretty girl, don't be insecure. Your light shines from within. Fascinating exterior, all part of a plan. Pretty girl, don't you come this far just to run and hide. 9 years long in a maple rain. The rain will be just fine. So many things to think and do. Don't really know where to begin. So many circles of doubt trying to cage you in. Yoshi, 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 you are so beautiful. Finding miracles, not easy to do. Leaving time as a facet of the mind. You can do you. Lying naked with your heart on your wings doesn't solve the mystery. Shame, just a calling from the past. You're always free to be free. So many things to think and do. Don't really know where to begin. So many circles of doubt trying to cage you. Yoshi, 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 you are so beautiful. From the inside, yeah, to the outside, girl. Yoshi. Giving thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank
We're
you.
going to have to talk about getting together more often
Oh, yeah.
and see what else we can
Would
do.
love to.
And I know the group, actually.
Oh, great. The
Yeah,
luminaries.
yes.
And my cousin is Free Will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about having them on a live show once, and, it didn't work
great.
out, but
Oh.
because you guys are so busy. But
Yeah.
we'll have to do that another time.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Bodhise, for bringing her
All right.
or inviting her.
Thank you for having me.
That was beautiful. That was Sharon Blue Rain, and the song was Yoshi, as is the CD. And if anybody wants to get the CD, where do they get that?
SharonBlueRain.com.
All right, SharonBlueRain.com. That's blue, BLU,
Yes.
rain.com. So thank you. Why is that spirit aspect so important?
Okay, well, you have that trinity, you have the pyramid, and the pyramid has, the apex and the base, so you have these conjoining areas that is power. We all know about pyramid power, the power of this triangle. So mind, body, spirit, they all interact, and whatever is going on in any area of your experience, whether it's your body, if there's something that is not functioning well, it's affecting your way you're thinking and also affects your inner spiritual nature. So healing can take place on any area and will affect all areas. So therefore, it's very important that we have an experience and an exposure to each area, and something like that. You see how it calms us down. It brings us into a new way of thinking, feeling. It's healing us, and therefore it will heal all areas. It's powerful.
So we need to engage in spirit. This is obviously external. Usually when people think of spirit, they think of something internal. But so now you're saying something external like the music can help us connect.
Just that's why when you go to these performing arts and you are transformed and into a whole nother experience by seeing the performance, and even though that's external, there's something internal that is going on, and they are igniting our internal power source.
Now, I haven't had the pleasure of working with you as a patient, but I understand that that's what happens when people come see you. There's some kind of internal transformation happening in their body. What is it that you're doing to them?
Well, let me be straight when it comes to the urban sage idea. I come from an urban experience, and our family and friends, they want to be real. And when I was first going through chiropractic, I didn't quite understand it. The snapping and the cracking. I was like, whatever it is, my folks is not going to completely go for that.
No snap, crackle, and pop for them.
I can't snap them too much. So they're like, Bodhise, what are you doing? So I really, literally, I was experiencing massage therapy before I even went into chiropractic. I just needed to make certain that I had the sciences down and I had my safety down and the safety of those who I treated. So therefore, after graduating from the School of Chiropractic, I went further into neuromuscular deep tissue therapy, and I found that it was a great adjunct to my practice, and it took over and became my practice. And many of the things that you could do by adjusting or what we would call manipulating the spine, I found that I could do the same thing but more gentle through a type of massage technique in the same areas where their malfunctioning was going on. And then I was able to go further than just the spinal column and work on the limbs and also what we talked about earlier, the shaping, changing internal organ systems by my hands-on work. And my niece, Stephanie, one time when I was younger, she was suffering from pain, and I didn't know what it was. I just saw her in pain, and my sister Peggy was trying to take care of her, and I was like, Peggy, what's the matter? I was alarmed because there's my niece in pain. And she says, Paul, she has sickle cell. And that was the first time I ever heard the word. And so all through my school career, I kept thinking about her. And so I said, I think this treatment could help. So eventually I began to work on sickle cell patients, and there are patients who have blood disorders, especially in the Afrocentric community and also Jewish community, that the blood cannot make it to organs, and the organs actually die. They fail, and joints and all areas of their body, and they sometimes don't live a long life because of this. And I wanted to try to help. And so to make a long story short, these patients take morphine to try to just stay out of pain. Wow. That doesn't even fix them. Wow. 3 of the highest doses of morphine every day. And I was able to get them off the morphine, and the medical doctors who gave them the morphine that knew how devastating the morphine was to the body noticed that they needed less. And they came to me and say, whatever you're doing, let's put it on a trial. We did in 2002. It was presented to the Sickle Cell Convention in Washington, D.C., and therefore made it to Journals of Hematology in America, and we redid it for England. So it's in those journals. Look up my name and you'll find that information. But that is my massage approach. It is healing degenerative aspects of the body by hands-on. So therefore, I use a variety of approaches: herbs, vitamins, diet, hands-on healing, and spiritual information, affirmations, as you just heard, and experiencing beautiful music like Sharon Blue Rain presented us today.
Wow. All of that and more, I'm sure. And this is the guy who used to fly planes.
I was an aircrew member.
Force.
I wasn't the guy behind it. I was the guy who did the engineering and put up various numericals in order for us to be able to fly the plane, and it was so important that I was part of the crew member. But nevertheless, I saw the devastation that type of life led to, and I felt like there was more that I could give to the universe, and this is the reason why I'm doing what I do today.
Yes, incredible. And you have not stopped there. You've also created products that I actually don't know about.
Okay.
I mean, it's like I've known you for a while, but you're humble, you're quiet. I don't know. Are you shy or something? Because it's like all of these things. It's like, finally we're getting to know.
Actually, I think I am.
You are, I'm telling you.
And I know that one time...
you're modest is what you are.
This one of my mentors came to me, and he noticed that same thing, and he knew that I had something to give, and he was like, well, let me tell you something. If no one tooteth your bell, you have to learn to tooteth your own.
Well, toot away, tell us about your products.
Okay, very quickly, they're very important, especially now during this time that we need to re-energize. The foods are so denatured. They don't have in them what they should have in them because of the soil being stripped away and the bad agricultural experiences along with the additives and preservatives. So I've come up with what I think is very important. One is our sea vegetable stem cells. And we keep hearing about stem cell research and how you're going to take one part of the body or something from the embryo and put it into the body and help the vertebral column grow, the nerves or some organ. But you can take advantage of the same research that says you don't have to put something else in your body foreign. You can take the herbs and the sea vegetables in particular and strengthen your body as nutrition to create your own higher quality and quantity stem cells. This is real.
Really?
Everybody don't know about it, but
really?
We know about it in the Bodhise Holistic Healing Group, and that's part of our herbal regimen. Nutrition that creates your own stem cells to be just as powerful and higher quality and quantity as the embryonic stem cell.
This seems like the kind of thing that should be all over the place.
Well, it's starting right here in Life Changes.
Well,
all right.
Well, here
you go, brother.
I want to know about this.
Got to start somewhere. All right. That's one of them. Let's talk about another one. That's just one. Okay. We have our immune adaptogens. The immune adaptogens is basically a word that's not found in medical science. Adaptogens is something that boosts your immune system to adapt to the illnesses that are in the body that haven't met the test yet, hasn't seen the test. You ever wonder how you can be taken care of by a doctor and for 10, 20 years, and then one day you go in and says, oh, you have advanced degenerative cancer or bone disease. Like, wait a minute. You've been taking care of me all this. How can I have
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How can this be advanced?
You're
like,
right.
What I say is that we can learn how to use these nutrients from the earth, shiitake mushrooms, reishi mushrooms, maitake mushrooms, and other kinds of energy herbs that can boost your immune system to adapt to the illnesses that are going on in the body long before they become advanced. This is important that we know this, and our herbs have those in them.
And therefore not create the illness?
Exactly, prevent it. So in other words, the old Asian idea of the proper doctor is that you pay him as long as he keeps you well. When you're not, you don't pay him because he did something wrong.
That's right.
Okay.
Wow. Now that's an interesting concept. I have a feeling you're going to tell us more, but let's take a break real quick and then you'll get to share. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Cool.
Clean water is not enough. Reverse osmosis, distilled water, and most bottled waters are devoid of naturally occurring minerals. They are acidic, unstructured, and hard to absorb, and rob minerals from the body. Ion Waves ionizers produce a superabundant supply of powerful antioxidants in each glass. Ionized water has a reduced molecular cluster size and negative charge, hydrating you up to 6 times better. Water from an Ion Waves ionizer will help you restore your body to its natural pH balance, boosting your vitality. And ionized water more effectively flushes acidic toxins from within your body. Drink the healthiest water available today. Ion Water's system, their water changes everything. To learn more about IonWay's water systems and how you can own one today, visit our website at lifechangeswithfilippo.com and click on our sponsor page. You have been listening to Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network with your host, Filippo Voltaggio.
Dr. Bodhise, you are blowing me away here. You think you know a person. and now here I am, as if I'm seeing this for the first time, as if I think I am, actually. You have so many products here. The sea vegetable stem cell, the digestive disorder, the megadose multiple vitamins. Okay, tell us about a couple more.
All right, the digestive disorder, for example. Many of us don't know that if the food is cooked, stored, or frozen, that you kill the enzyme. You deactivate the enzyme. And the enzyme is necessary for all the activity that goes on in the body. Right. The body can't function without an enzyme in it. And so how are we functioning? Because many of us eat foods that are always cooked or frozen or preserved. Well, I mean, some of it gets through, but we're functioning at a very low level, and that causes the colds, the flus, the viruses, and the disease syndromes that we have because we don't understand that we need enzymes in our body. And there are many enzymes. I've taken enzymes for years, and I'm like, okay, I know about this, and nothing happens. So I'm like, okay, well, what's going to happen here? So I was able to find the enzyme that deals with the frequencies of the body that immediately helps not only digestion but assimilation. Enzymes breaks down the nutrients in the food and carries them to the target location, and you should feel great. You should have full digestion, etc. So many digestive disorders are simply because of the lack of enzymes in our food. Okay. Raw foods, you can get the enzymes. If the food has been come to a ripened state before you ingest it, okay? So the other one I want to speak about is the megadose multiple vitamin that we have. What basically, let me just be straight, what we call minimum daily requirement, 100%, cannot help the body during a functional illness because it is so low in the nutrients that we need. Linus Pauling, the great dual Nobel Prize scientist, had always said that we need 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day. And the science community laughed at him for 20 years, and then he was validated some years ago. That 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C is what we need. So, but that goes across the spectrum. Our B complex, the vitamin A, C, D, most of the vitamins that we have been told that are minimum daily requirements are really not minimum daily requirements. We need highly more in order for it to be medicinal. In other words, for it to change something, to work, to heal us, we need higher amounts. So our megadose multiple vitamins takes care of that. And so we have the other herbs for specific conditions and disease. Just go to theurbansage.com.
Theurbansage.com. I don't know if I've been saying the, but definitely theurbansage.com. Wow. You think you know somebody. And this is exciting, and it's good to know what you're knowing and what you're sharing and to have you here. And I know that there's something you want to share before we close this out today.
Well, this is a great opportunity to be here. I appreciate it, Filippo. But on the spiritual side, just remember, this is called the law of self-fulfillment. It goes like this. There is a godlike formless thinking substance from which all things are made, in which in its original state it permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of our universe. And as spirits, when we think in that substance, we produce the things imagined by our thoughts. You see, spirits can form things in their thought, and then by impressing that thought upon the formless substance, you will cause those things you think about to be created. In order to do that, a spirit must pass from the childlike, manipulative mind to the godlike, spiritual, forgiving mind. Now, form clear mental pictures of those things you want and do with faith and purpose all that can be done each day, doing each separate thing in an efficient manner by using every letter you write, every conversation you have, and every meeting you attend to express your fundamental beliefs and dreams. Then affirm to others the vision of the world that you want, for you are a free, immensely powerful source of light and goodness. So affirm that.
I believe.
Now let's go out and spread it. Just radiate it. Hey, brother. Good to be here.
Thank you. That was Dr. Bodhise in the house, letting everybody know that he's here and that he's got a message to share. And thank you so much for sharing.
I appreciate it. Thank you for giving that opportunity on this wonderful radio program. I've been listening.
Can't wait to talk more and help get the message out more.
Cool.
Very good. Well, Mark, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm wishing I was on location. You guys are clearly having way too much fun.
We're having a lot of fun here, actually. And, I know you met Dr. Bodhise because he was here last week when we had Rachel Taylor on. And,
I did indeed.
It's so... What's that?
I said I did indeed.
Yeah, and it's so funny because he's so understated. And I couldn't wait to get him on the radio show so that he could be all himself.
Well, we've been obviously very blessed to have him on. Dr. Bodhise, your information, your delivery is fantastic, and you're doing all of us and everyone who touches you a great service, and it's been a pleasure listening to you and learning from you today.
I was looking over the book, and it's interesting, like he talked about, the sun, these things that we take for granted when somebody's not feeling well and it's like, oh, what should I take or which doctor should I go to? And the first thing he talks about is the sun. It's like we have the answers.
Well, it's interesting because you and I have talked about this before, and it really goes back to that simple paradigm that all is energy, all is vibration, all is frequency. Frequency is love, love is God. And when you look at that and you look at the sun as the life force that it is, the ability to connect, our openness to that, and the receptivity to that energy and what is going on so many different levels is paramount. And I think we haven't scratched the surface of what we're truly getting from that exchange.
It reminds me, my grandmother died at the age of 99 and 11 months and a few days. So she was almost 100. And so she was born in the 1800s. And she would tell me the craziest things. If this were to happen, do this. Or if you want to stay away from that, make this happen. And I used to say, Grandma, that stuff is... No, she's Italian, we used to call it. But that stuff, nobody believes that stuff anymore. And now we have doctors and hospitals. We don't need to believe that stuff anymore. And boy, was I wrong. And boy, was she right. Because this is what I feel like I'm hearing again.
Yeah, I think so. And clearly you and I had different grandma experiences because deep in the midst of the North Carolina terrain, I certainly learned some different health tactics from some of my kinfolk down there and my beautiful grandmother.
Well, but were they good?
That's a whole joke. That's a whole different show. Of course, this is back to this is bite the bullet territory. So I think they have some catching up to do. But to bring it full circle, certainly one thing they did respect and worship is the sun.
I'm thinking, I'm trying to picture your grandmother. Of course, I never met her, but I see her as the grandmother on what was that show, Beverly Hillbillies? That's what I'm seeing. Working up concoctions. Is that your grandma?
Yeah, we'll have to have a sit down with some sweet tea and some potato salad one day and have a discussion.
All right. Well, no, but the wisdom. The wisdom of the ages that has been passed down, it is so great to have it coming through from somebody like Bodhise, who comes across as one of us and yet knows things that us don't know. You know what I mean?
I think what was so fantastic, and I so appreciated having Sharon Blue Rain on tonight and that music and his mention of that inner change, that connectivity, that exchange that goes on. I'm a big fan of that, and I like to call it achieving resonance. When you look at the things that we want to attract and achieving a state of being and achieving a certain frequency, we talk about the law of attraction in these things, and we immediately go to our mental state, when trying to enact that. But the reality is there's so much going on inside our bodies at so many different levels. So when we achieve resonance, when we have that moment where we connect with that music and we achieve and build rapport with that frequency, we've actually changed our physiology and all the things that Dr. Bodhise was saying. We have put ourselves into a place of receptivity to be able to achieve and attract that with which we want to live in and surround ourselves by.
You know, it's interesting you should say that. I was thinking about something similar while I was listening to her sing. I remembered how listened to Greg Braden recently, and he was saying how studies have been done on DNA when the body is happy, when the soul is happy, or whatever it is. Scientifically, they were saying in regards to these studies that the DNA actually somehow opens up and is more receptive to good things happening and healthier and all that stuff. And so. And then vice versa, if it's sad or in fear or whatever, the DNA closes up and becomes more receptive to illness and those kinds of things, and is almost not able to function in a sense. So more bad things happen in that state. So I'm listening to her music, and she was singing "Yoshi, You're So Beautiful," and I just think, you know, those words, telling somebody you're proud of them, telling somebody they're beautiful, telling somebody you love them, or those words, just going back to to Greg Braden, I think it opens up that DNA, like he was talking about, just makes people light up.
I'm a firm believer of that. You know, I look at DNA as our software blueprint, our software program, and I think that code recognizes or is programmed to recognize these states of being, these states of vibration. And just like anything else, you can listen to the beautiful music we listen today and achieve one sort of resonance and be open to and or flower to the types of experiences that you're talking about. And conversely, in a more dense state, you can listen to other music, a lot of the Metallica and other aggressive music, and you'll still have a state of resonance. There isn't a good or a bad, but that resonance is obviously going to attract a different thought pattern, a different feeling, and therefore different experiences with it. So it's just why it's so important to be in the presence of the higher vibration and the kind of music that we listen to tonight.
Well, I feel like we're in the presence of higher vibration right now, and next week we're going to be talking with Ro Elgas, who is owner of a company called Be Organic, and she's going to talk about permaculture and organics and the laws in the United States around that. I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, I am Filippo Voltaggio, and it has been my pleasure being of service by hosting Life Changes today. I, along with our segment hosts and producers, Dorothy Lee Donahue, Mark M. Lejour, and Mark Greger, and our engineer, Seth Hendricks. Thank you for joining us and being part of this show and being part of the change we all wish to see in the world. Ciao, everyone.
You have been listening to Life Changes with Filippo, with the Master of Change, Filippo Voltaggio. Listen live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the BBS Radio Network, and visit us online at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. That's Filippo, Filippo. You can also join our family and friends on Facebook under Life Changes with Filippo. Remember, you can also keep the conversation going during the week by visiting us and writing us on our website, via Twitter and YouTube, and very soon on our upcoming Life Changes social media network. Today's show has been made possible in part by our sponsors, Ion Water Systems and Love and Miracles. To learn more about them, click on their links on our sponsor page of our website. Once again, join us here next week as we consciously explore and embrace the only constant, life changes.
Change the world.